Lions fans, welcome to the Molloy Cross Country Preview. Rick Rissetto here with the head coach of both the men's and women's cross country programs here at Molloy, Daniel Naud. Daniel, first of all, a big congrats to you on now having not just 2 programs, but 6 when the track and field programs come around for their seasons. Are you nervous? How are you feeling about coaching 6 teams at once?
Nervous, but it's a nervous excitement. It's not one of those things where I'm nervous because I'm scared of the job. I'm more just excited to get started, and this preseason has been kind of draining on me just because I was ready to start and getting ready to roll.
What's the biggest adjustment for you going from coaching your guys to now coaching your guys and your girls at the same time?
Mostly paperwork. Sadly, mostly paperwork, but different personalities. You know, the guys go one way and the girls go the other way, and that's, just biology and things like that. And it's just me just getting accustomed to it and learning how the girls get motivated and how they work with me and how we communicate together.
How important is it for you to have the staff that you have as well, with the coaches that are coming back on the assistant side, guys like Adamo and DiBenedetto, and now Rachel Staiano back for you guys helping you out? How important is it to have them kind of in your back pocket as former runners here like you were, who know this program, who know what it takes to win here, and that'll be back on the coaching side of it to help you out?
Amazing. There's no other words to describe those 3. Rachel's been a great addition this year. She's really taken everything by the horns, and especially with the girls team, leading them, running with them. And she's in phenomenal shape as well, so they got someone to look up to and how we want the program to be. Because Rachel's one of those athletes that came in, wasn't a star runner, and then by the end of her time, became a sub-20 minute for us.
Right.
And so she's a great example for how we want things to go. And Matt and Nick speak for themselves. Nick does a great job training, and Adamo is just fantastic with the girls and how he handles them, and Nick's great with the guys as well.
Last season, as the coach of the men's team, you had another runner-up finish to Roberts Wesleyan, but you had the breakout. You had guys like Connor Gallagher, who performed extremely well down the season, down the stretch, and Brian Michels, who seemingly came out of nowhere. You knew it the whole time, but he came out of nowhere as a freshman to win Conference Rookie of the Year. So how excited are you looking forward to what Michels can do in his second season, and really that whole team that you have coming back as well?
Our team, let's start off with Brian. Brian is in shape. He's ready to go. I think he can easily finish in the top 5 this year in the conference. He looks better than he had last year. He's already running faster than he did last year. And for us to be in August and saying that, it's a statement to how hard he worked this summer,
right,
and how hard he trained during track in the off season. And our team this year, we're a young team, but Stephen Barbaro and Joe Hunt look to be ready to go. Matt Healy and James Finnegan are going to be great additions as well. And Shane Martinson's the dark horse. He kind of flew on the radar between Connor and the rest of the guys we had last year, but this is his year to step out and be the upperclassman we thought he could be.
Do you miss having those seniors? Because it wasn't just Connor, it was Tom Dreyer, it was Tyler Capozzoli, Des Guidros, those guys. Do you miss having that senior leadership now that you're turning over onto a young roster?
Of course. You always miss those guys. Those guys are your leaders, You lean on them when there's tough times, and they pull the younger guys through it. So having young guys now, it's a little different dynamic. With Shane, Liam Gallagher, and Will Lemus are definitely ready to take control and making sure they're all going in the right direction.
And I think for those that don't really know cross country very well, Brian was Rookie of the Year last year, but that was because he was the top finishing freshman in the conference championship meet. So to go from where he was in the top 15 now to the top 5, with everyone that's left from the conference, from Roberts and from Bridgeport, now LIU Post, and to his personal growth as well, it's going to be a bit of more of a challenge for him to get up into that top 5. Do you agree with that, or do you think that he's up for it?
Of course, it's always a challenge. Whenever you're in the conference in the top 5, no matter what conference, it can be Division 1, Division 2, or Division 3, you're an amazing runner, and you don't become an amazing runner without working hard. But he's ready for it. He's been working hard, and I can't see how he can't do it. But, he's going to take every step one at a time, and hopefully he gets there by the end of the year.
Do you look at the conference at all as to where you measure yourself, or do you kind of just make sure that you check on your team, make sure that they stay with their training regimen? Because, as you mentioned, the conference you have is very tough. Even with the loss of Dowling for the other sports, it hasn't really affected you guys as much, but you still have Roberts, who's still the champions. You still have LIU Post, who's strong every year. You still have all these other teams that are there fighting for those spots. Do you worry about that first and foremost, or is that kind of secondary to what your team is doing?
Secondary. What we want to do is make sure we're prepared every day. What I always say is that no one will outwork us, and what that means is that every day we come here, we work 110%. What everyone else is doing isn't our business. All you can control is how hard you work day in and day out. At the end of the year, of course, you want to check on and see where everyone stands, but all you can do is race as hard as you can, see where your times fall, and then hope for the best.
Now, on the women's side last year, it was that young team that had a few of the big names kind of go into either injury concerns or just didn't really race as hard as they think, or they became better as the year went along for indoor track and outdoor track. This year, as you see them become a year older, names like Gabriella Martins and Diana Monaco and Katie Mishta will be back again for you. What are your expectations for them going forward? Again, because where you were last year, improvements abound, but with the training regimen that we're talking about.
We're going to be better this year. Katie Mishta is in fantastic shape. I think once the training for the Olympics kind of stopped, I think she realized that she wanted to be here, be 110% in. Not that she didn't want to, but now she's really fallen for her last 2 years here. Nicole Hubert looks in fantastic shape. Diana Monaco looks great, and so does Gabby as well. I think all four of them coming back is going to be great for us. And the best thing about it, it's only juniors and sophomores. So I have no seniors on the team, so I have them for next year to move for next year.
Right. Now, one of your main players to win back, Tyra Jameson, who ran a little bit last year but was an unattached runner indoor track and outdoor track, but has a huge pedigree. Monroe Community College to Georgia State, ran on the D1 level, and now is here for you. Not so much of a experience factor because there were girls who were on this team who've been there longer, but because she ran D1, does that lend a different experience to this team?
Definitely with work ethic and showing people what to do and how to do it. A lot of private meetings last year, she really told people how it was at Division I level, and I think that helped everyone kind of get on the same page, especially on the women's side. We're coming in with her, we're just going to take it easy with her. We're really building towards track for her in the 400 hurdles and those events, but she's still going to be playing important part for cross country with us and be a key contributor for us.
Right.
Hopefully break into that top 5 or top 4 area.
You mentioned Katie Mishta a little bit. Was it just a case of just an off year? Because you mentioned Olympic training. She was in the U.S. Olympic trials for the race walk. Her sister, Maria, who was in the 2012 Olympics, was in the 2016 Olympics as well. So, as somebody who ran, when it's an Olympic year, is it different for them in terms of how they train, or is it just because she was training for race walking versus actual running that kind of she had a little bit of a struggle last year?
I don't think it was that. I think it was more due to a hip injury that she incurred, and it took a while for her to get back, and eventually at a certain point, you're not going to force someone to come back when they're not ready to.
Right.
And the best thing to do sometimes is just take the season as it is and hope to build for next year. And she completely has done that, even after she's training hard for the Olympics and coming back and giving us everything she has. It's a long road for her. It's a lot of training, a lot of months. She's
Right.
not doing what most athletes do. And it's a testament to her and her character.
Now, we talked about the conference on the men's side. On the women's side, the best team is Roberts, according to the polls. The best runners coming from NYIT and Sarah Geritich, who was conference runner of the year preseason. And also they got a first place vote, whereas they were tied for fifth. They were in fifth place by themselves. Your team was towards the back of that pack. Is that more of a let them underestimate us and we'll show them, or is that more a barometer that you can sort of set and say, let's get better from here and be 2 spots, 3 spots higher?
I think it would be spots higher than that. With the addition of Emily Martino, she's in fabulous shape, a lot more than what we expected her to be. I think she'll be a real force. Maybe a Brian Michelle's type, possibly not, but she's definitely there. She's going to be a part of our top 1, 2, or 3 for our team, leading us. I think she's going to break 20 minutes and get us a bunch of girls into 20 minutes, and I think if that occurs, we're way ahead in the 6th. So I'm looking for anything in the top 4.
How much do you know about the courses you have laid out this season? You got Broadway Park in Sayville, Van Cortlandt Park, LIU hosts their course at Newark, where you go every year for the NJIT Challenge. How much do you know about all of those courses, and how much wisdom can you impact as a former runner on them for the freshmen who haven't run on these courses and for the sophomores who are going on these courses again?
Well, the good thing is that me, Rachel, Badamo, and Nick have all ran on each of these courses that we're going to. The only course that I didn't run on was Robert Wesley's course, but we've been there about 1,000 times since they've been in our conference. We've gone there every year, so everyone knows the lay of the land. The freshmen are just going to have to trust us and the seniors and the juniors and the sophomores to run on each of these courses and get the feel and get their placing in the whole situation of the team. The LIU post and the NYT post, we've done that a bunch of times as well, so we're very familiar with where we're going.
Now, it's a team sport, but individuals do have the glory. So how best do you work with the team to make them realize that, like NYIT, whereas they can have the best runner in the conference, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the best team in the conference. So how do you keep that in their minds as you open the season in Sayville?
What we tell our athletes is that it doesn't matter how good your number one is, you're only as strong as your last person on the team. And we try and commit that to everyone, that you can move up and down on this team. You know, everyone's fighting for a spot to go to regionals on both sides. And we all have to work together. It's one big chain. It's not just a missing link on a fence. You know, if there's a missing link, you go through the fence. And that's kind of how we approach everything.
Last question for you. Last year, cross country ended somewhat bitterly in that you had a runner who was very close to qualifying for nationals, but missed it by a couple spaces. What will the result be this year? Will there be talk? Will there be a runner who gets to regionals and performs as well as he does at that fairgrounds up in New Hampshire? And then are we talking about seeing you guys in nationals? Is that your expectation? Is that your hope for this year?
It's always your hope, but it's not my expectation. I just want us to put our best step forward and try and attack the ECC championship that's eluding us for 7 years now, and hopefully make a claim for that on the men's side. On the women's side, I want us to get better each and every day. You know, improve, going to that top 4 spot is my expectation. Nationals is something that I'm not even thinking of right now. It'd be great if it happens. If it doesn't happen, I'm still proud of whoever we're putting forward.
So let me be the dreamer then and go for nationals.
Exactly.
Just worry about your thing. It's
yes.
fine. Daniel Naud, the head coach of both cross-country programs. They start up on September the 1st in Sayville at the St. Joseph's College Friends and Alumni Invitational. Dan, thanks for the time. Best luck to you guys to go forward.
Thanks, sir.